man-to-man, one-on-one coverage because the safety rolls to Jefferson's side.
This guy's like becoming like a circus act. Like he could do this.
Von Rock caught a ball with his thighs. We didn't even talk about that.
It was more of with his ass.
If he throws a good ball, this is a running, catching touchdown untouched.
Right. To become who we want to be as individuals, and at the end of the day, that's going to help us be a successful offense.
Like KP does like these flips after every win. Now I'm like just waiting for him to do his flips.
You can tune in anywhere that you guys follow us on social media.
Shout out to Jalen Ramsey. He sucks.
Welcome to the Practice Squad podcast. My name is Jon. I'm joined by my co-host Mark, and we are actually, as of this episode streaming right now, 1 week away from the NFL draft. So obviously, biggest NFL event going on outside of the actual season. So I'm stoked on it. Mark, I'm sure you're stoked on it. Got a few things with that, right? Housekeeping items. We're going to have a stream Wednesday night. We're going to do a mock draft stream. Mark and I are going to be plenty active on actual draft night. And then I think we're going to try to do a live stream on Saturday. In celebration, all of that, we're actually going to run a merch sale as well. So if you go to our merch website, April 26th to May 1st, we're doing 20% off on the entire store. Draft 20 is the code. We'll make sure to post about it on social media and stuff as well. Mark, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm excited for the draft. And normally, kind of like you said, calm before the storm draft season, we still have some good stuff to talk about on today's episode. And we have a guest. Been a few episodes since we've had a guest. But we got a guest on, and we're excited to have him on. Before I say his name, I'll give a brief introduction. He's currently with the Cleveland Browns, wide receiver. He has a pretty crazy journey to get there. Started at Morgan State, was a transfer to Jackson State, played for Coach Deon Sanders, then transferred to Michigan, played for Harbaugh, was signed as a free agent by the Giants, and then now for the Browns. We're excited to have on Daylen Baldwin.
How y'all doing, man?
Good. So, Daylen, before we get started here, though, so Mark can't say the same, but I can. Your team in high school was responsible for ending my football career. So while you guys were celebrating on the bus ride home, I was sitting in the locker room crying that I'd never, put on a football helmet ever again. So I just wanted to personally thank you for that.
Hey, no hard feelings, though, right?
No hard feelings, though. Not upset about it.
Man.
It was just friendly competition.
That's all.
Yes, sir.
Crazy
game.
game.
You guys were the better team that night, and we definitely that was a good game too, because I just remember you guys were crushing us in the first half, and then we came out with a chip on our shoulder the second half, almost got it done. Kind of felt like we ran out of time.
Most definitely, yeah. It was definitely that was an intense game. That was a fun game, actually.
It was a good game, but you've kind of come a far way since then, huh, Daylen? Since beating us, but you kind of went on to do some awesome things. I kind of just want to start with just your starting at Morgan State, ending up where you are now. Can you just kind of do kind of a little story about each kind of stop, every destination from Morgan State all the way till where you're at now, and how those kind of came about?
Yeah. So first thing I started with, like, God designed these stops for me. I'll put it that way. Like, that's like the biggest thing. In all honesty, at Morgan State, it's funny how at some places I was the young dude. So like at Morgan State, my nickname was Baby Boy. That's what my coach called me. But at Jackson State, everybody, all the younger guys looked at me like, man, you the old head. You don't be doing nothing. You don't be going out, stuff like that. So it's funny how the contrast was. But Morgan State, man, So the only reason I got a chance to accept my scholarship is because a kid he ended up going to Rhode Island and didn't go to Morgan State. So I was the last receiver on the board there. I came in there, and it was last day of conditioning. We had to run on 110s. All the coaches was out there. And this is my coach, Ron Dickerson. He's still my mentor to this day, spiritual mentor, helped me get closer, kind of really introduced me to God and getting closer to him. So I win. We had 21 10s or 16. I won 19 of them. I won all but the last one, but the last two or so, like that.
Yeah.
He come up to me like, man, you can play. You actually got a chance. I see you work. That's all that matters at the end of the day. Then he compared me to Dante Moncrief, if you know who that is. He played for the Colts not too long ago. So he was like, you give me like that type of vibe as far as you being a worker, not being the most talented guy, but you work hard. So it's crazy that I came in. I was the last receiver on the depth chart. By the time we ended camp, I played the first game. So I was me. It was me and a senior rotating, my boy Deshaun. So that was a crazy little journey within itself. Some ups and downs of that freshman year, understanding
Of course,
how
yeah.
it works. So that was all right. Going into my sophomore year, I'm like, okay, we got to make something happen. You know what I'm saying? And during this year, it was some ups and downs because I didn't get the production, I didn't get the results that I wanted from the work I put in. And at that point, a lot of people choose to slow down, man, this ain't working, so I'm not gonna do anything. Or for me, I had a lot of mental breakdowns during that time. So like,
yeah, it's tough.
Crying,
Transition's tough. Yeah, I mean,
crying mentally, like, bro, why is it not working? Things like that, and that was frustrating for me, especially being a young athlete. And I'm like, okay, I know I'm working. I put in a lot of work to even get here. So like, why is this not working out? During that time, I had 3 coaches at Morgan State in 2 years. So
and that itself is a challenge.
Yeah, Tyrone Wheatley got hired, and I didn't get to play for him, but I told him, like, yeah, I gotta go. Like, I can't stay here. I can't be here. Be honest with you. Like, this ain't where I'm supposed to be. Then, so the craziest part about me getting to Jackson State, I went with Coach Dickerson at Jackson State. Coach Dickerson's the receiver coach at Morgan State. I went to him at Jackson State. I had to sit out that first year, so I never got to play for him. That was a dude that actually went down to the never got to play for him. So I went down there, I had to sit out, and during that time I actually went through a depression. I didn't have football. That was the first time since I was 7 years old. I was never able to play football. All I could do was practice, and I couldn't play in the games. And it's a difference between HBCUs on the East Coast and down south, because that was pretty fun. And Mississippi don't have any major sports teams, so Jackson State is in the middle of the city. The stadium is in the middle of the city.
Yeah, I mean, you see some of the crowds that they pull. I mean, and even Deion Sanders helps, right? Having a name like that as your head coach, but like those games are packed, man. I mean, those are like big events.
It was amazing, and I didn't get to play before COVID. So after COVID, it was still even a lot of people. But before COVID, man, it was ridiculous. I remember driving up to I think we played TSU. We played it at Memphis Stadium. I think it was against TSU. Man, when I tell you, man, that game was so lit and I couldn't play it. I was frustrated. And man, just during that time, bro, I just grinded. Like, I was probably lifting like 4 times a week. Just giving everything I had in practice, like just trying to get our defense ready as possible.
Right.
Like just serving as God would say. Like, I feel like that was my season of me serving and helping others, not worried about me. And the more I stopped worrying about myself, the quicker I got out of the depression of being worried about me not playing and things like that. So it was a blessing, man. But following that, COVID had happened. Crazy time for development during COVID. I was working, I was grinding. There was nothing else to do. And man, that following season, that's when I seen the fruits of my labor. Like, oh, I could really do this. I remember my first practice, Deon Sanders said, he kind of called me over. He was running around. He's like, man, you got something. Like, keep doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So that was like a help of encouragement, honestly.
Hearing that from him, I mean, like,
that was huge.
If anybody knows, yeah.
You know, so
was he biased, Daylen? I hate to interrupt. Was he biased towards like defensive backs over receivers? I mean, he had to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I mean, that's what I'm saying. For him to come to you and be like, hey, you look pretty good. Like, I think you could do this. Like, that's because I'm sure he says that to every DB that comes in there. Yeah. But to a receiver, you're probably showing like really
you can do something. And I just appreciated it. So just something that small that ended up helping me a lot. Then during that season, man, I learned how to be a leader. I learned how to be Daylen Baldwin. I wasn't a kid from Detroit. I wasn't a kid from Michigan. I wasn't a kid from Morgan State. I figured out how to be Daylen and really be me and understand who I am. During that time, that was the most spiritual I had become at that time. You know what I'm saying? So and that really helped me, just having God by my side the entire time. That's genuinely what mattered, honestly.
Yeah.
And I was pushing myself then, because
you had a great season. That season was like your breakout in terms of, like, I guess the rest of the world seeing what you were truly capable of. Yeah. You know, I'm sure you always knew. and people close to you probably knew, but like
Absolutely.
no one else really knew, right? So like, I mean, I was seeing stuff like on Twitter and like I was like, he's really coming into his own.
Yeah.
And you know, then obviously you can go in and kind of talk about how Michigan happened, right? I mean,
yeah. So I also want to hit it like doing their like being there. HBCUs, they don't during that training program that I had, they didn't challenge me enough. So like I'm like that was the work. I was challenging myself. Like I was up 5 a.m. doing ad workouts before I ever went to the weight room, before I ever went to practice, before I ever went to class, stuff like that. Like I had to really push myself. Like I don't want people to undermine the work that's put in to do this. It's not easy, like at all. I don't want nobody to think that. But I had to put in some work to really get where I needed to be. If you hear that snoring, that's my dog right here. He just come take a nap. But
I saw you posted on Instagram today that he left you with a surprise to walk in.
Yeah, he left me with a surprise. I'm actually just happy he didn't mess up the entire house.
Right.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Like, there's times during the when we're recording our podcast that John's cat will like take a shit like in the room, and he has to act like nothing happened. So we'll see if your dog wakes up and decides to leave something. We'll see how good you are at just staying cool.
I took him out before, man. We're gonna be good. He gonna be good for a little minute. He gonna be all right, man. But so I decided to leave Jackson State just in disagreement with how they were handling things, and I'm not gonna get too far into that because it don't even matter anymore, honestly. But we just came to a disagreement. I didn't feel like I should be there, and honestly, I really sat down and prayed on it. Like it didn't even matter about how I felt about it, but I really sat down and prayed on it. And God was like, "All right, it's time to go. I got something better for you." So boom, I hit the transfer portal. So I had a 16-hour drive home. That 16-hour drive home, I did not nonstop. Every coach called me. So it was all the coaches from the SWAC, from every school in the SWAC. So Alabama State, Southern, everybody calling me. Boom, all right, cool. So then every coach from all the major FCS schools, James Madison, it's Liberty, I think is not a FBS. It was a couple FCS schools that had called me. So the major ones though, because James Madison had won the championship that last year. So I'm like, all right, cool. Then like so almost a little bit like when I first hit the portal, I kind of had somewhere I was going, which was Central Michigan. I was actually gonna go there first.
You would have teamed up with me.
Yeah, no, that was really where I was going. Kind of let it simmer down a little bit. So I went from Jackson State, kind of in disagreement, kind of in a bad spot. I had to like turn my phone off. I had to turn my computer off. I said, "Mom, look, I ain't gonna call nobody. I ain't gonna talk to nobody. I'm being on the way in the morning, but I gotta mentally decompress. I'm going through a lot. Like I can't understand this. I gotta hear God." And that was the thing. So I went from there. So I got home probably 2 days. I went to Central Michigan, went to go visit them, talk to the coach that came from Florida. McElway. Talked to him. I'm like, all right, cool. I get back home. Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State. Penn State and Ohio State wanted me to come work out. Kent State wanted me to visit, and I went to go work out at Michigan after that. So in the 3-4 day span, I went from Jackson State, like messed up mentally. In that 3 or 4 days, me and my dad hit the road. I seen the top 3 biggest college football stadiums and campuses in 3 days.
Yeah,
that was like the biggest contrast, and that was just God showing me like, look, I could change the situation like that. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
that was huge. That was huge. Then my decision really to go to Michigan was me actually asking God, like, go to the place that's gonna make me the best version of Daylen. I could chase stats at I visited Kent State. I could have chased stats. I think I would have had like almost 2,000 yards in the MAC. I'm not gonna be honest with you. Like I could have really just chased stats, but I want to be the best version of me, receiver wise, person wise, whatever it may have been. I want to be the best version of myself. So that's what ended up making me choose Michigan. During my time in Michigan, I learned a lot, just like technique wise, as far as playing receiver, a lot of stuff that I actually still use today. And also I just learned how to value the bigger things. And I feel like I taught some guys there how to value what they had at Michigan, because they got it good. They got it good.
Yeah.
At Jackson State, Morgan State, it was times where the food closed early. We just can't eat. Like it was struggle. Like, and it's not easy. Like, it was times where pipes froze. We had cold sandwiches for a week, or at Jackson State.
Right.
Crazy things that was happening. Morgan State, sometimes they just run out of food, or calf closed at 8:00. We got practice at a little bit later that day, and we ain't really get to eat. We got to go find something to eat. So times was tough. Like, it ain't like I was just telling them, and a lot of guys, some guys at Michigan was like, they like say certain things or like complain. I'm like, yo, you gotta stop, bro. You don't even know what you're getting. Like, this is a blessing what you getting here. So I feel like I also helped people around me. Like, I don't think that was just for me. You know what I'm saying? I think I really helped some of the kids that was there just appreciate what they had at the end of the day. So then during that time there, I didn't have the stats that I wanted to. I was mad. I wasn't even mad about that. I was more so frustrated about that because I'm like, I think I could have made a different decision as far as school. But the craziest part is that after we played against Georgia, and I didn't have a good game. I had one catch. I had the first down of the game, though. Well, I had one catch, but that game was probably the easiest football game of my life. I didn't have crazy stats. You can go back and watch it. I was open, and I knew every time I was going to be open. I knew how to get open, and it just felt easy to me. And
like the most natural.
It just felt natural. And for me personally, like, that was the time. Like, I told my dad, I'm like, Dad, I'm ready for the draft. Like, I could leave right now.
And that was against that Georgia defense
in the country.
Best defense in the country. And I promise you, like, that was the easiest game for me. I knew exactly when I was going to be open. I knew every coverage that I was seeing. I studied. I just understood what was going on. Even though I didn't get the ball, they had nothing to do with me. They got the best front seven in the country. Yeah. But even though I didn't get the ball, it was like I told my dad, I'm like, that was easy. Like, that was the easiest game of my life. And so that happened, and I kind of went back and forth on it. I had a lot of people around me telling me, like, no, you should stay. You need to dominate college football, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to be honest with you. Growing up, I never watched Saturdays. I watched Sundays. I always watch Sundays. I never watched Saturdays. So I'm like, man, this ain't about being the best college football player. It's cool. That's cool for popularity. That's cool. Like, that's all right. But I wanted to be the best player in the NFL, like the best receiver in the NFL. That was my goal. Like, that's all it's ever been. I wanted to get there and be the best there. So that's when I took the chance to go. Draft process wasn't too crazy. It was some ups and downs to it. Teams call here and there. A lot of signings, sign as far as like paperwork and stuff.
Right.
Paperwork, crazy questions, things like that. I went to a Tropical Bowl. Tropical Bowls where I got a lot of notoriety, showing them guys that, no matter what conference them dudes come from, they can't hold me. They can't guard me. So I got attention to like 20-something teams there. That was pretty good for me. Then during that process, I was told I might get drafted seventh round, might be priority free agent. None of that happened. That was frustrating, honestly, because it was, and that's what any kid who coming out the draft this year, get your mind, like, always be prepared for the best and be prepared for the worst. Get your mind ready for what if none of this happens? How are you going to act? Are you going to keep grinding? Are you going to quit? Like, what's your reaction going to be? You get what I'm saying? Because that's at the end of the day, it's a possibility, especially with a business like this where it might be more DBs this draft. So you might get drafted. If you came out last year or next year, you might have get drafted in the 3rd round. But since you getting drafted in the 7th, and now you got pushed back priority free agent, like, how you gonna feel about that? How you gonna react to that? Are you gonna keep working? So that'd be the biggest thing I tell any kids especially coming out this year for real. So during that time, I was at home for 2 months. Then I went to Giants rookie minicamp for 3 days. They didn't keep anybody except one person. It was 70 of us. They called one person. So, and there was nothing I could do about it. The coach literally came to me. He's like, man, you performed very well. Just keep your phone on. Just stay ready. They wrote it up. I had some of the best catches of the camp. Like, I did really well that nothing more that Daylen Baldwin could have done. Like, that was my biggest thing. Like, I left no stone unturned. I made every catch. I made every play, everything I could do, I did. So I was at home for 2 months, training, working out. Got to grab some quarterbacks, a couple of receivers. We worked out every day. Every day was just grinding. I get a call. My agent like, hey, Cleveland Browns won't work you out. I'm like, all right, cool. I told my mom and dad, I'm like, pack my bags. I ain't coming back home. I got to start packing my stuff. I'm not coming back. I'm telling you, I'm not coming back. Like, I don't care. I'm not. Like, that's just not happening. I'm not coming back. And I got there and I worked out with 2 other guys who one was a vet and one was a rookie. Was a rookie as well. The craziest part. So I literally work out. I do my workout. I go to the hospital. They come back. They have me sign my contract. They was like, yeah, we got to get you ready for practice. So I had to practice the same day I worked out.
That's crazy.
Saying like I literally worked out.
You meant it when you said you're not coming back.
Yeah, literally.
So like processing those emotions too, where you went from like, oh, am I going to get an opportunity to, all right, shit, now I got to perform at practice, be ready to go. You know, like what was kind of the emotions you're going through? You know, how quickly all of that moved within like a 24-hour span.
Yeah, it was exciting. It was exciting, man. It was me understanding that God had this under control, and I didn't have to force it. I didn't have to go out my way. I almost went to the USFL, almost went to the XFL, but all those kind of situations kind of disarrayed and like kind of went away, like and kind of messed up or in some shape or form. So I'm like, all right. And at that time, God was really telling me like, just stay still. I got you. Just keep working out. I'm put up opportunity in front of you. So for anybody who watches this who don't know, people who go for a workout don't stay on an NFL roster. Like that is almost unheard of. Like you come in for a workout, you usually go back home. They might call you on practice squad if somebody get hurt. Like that doesn't happen often. And I stayed on the roster the entire season to the point where even like my coach came to me and was like, hey, Daylen, I'm gonna be honest with you. You were supposed to be here for about a week. He came to me and told me, he's like, you're supposed to be here for about a week. I got in there, I performed well, and I was grinding. I was showing them that I could play. They're like, ho, let's like wait. Let's let him keep playing it out. And another thing that happened, which was pretty scary for me, I had got hurt in the Eagles preseason game. I hit my head, got a concussion. I couldn't play the last game, and I'm crying. I'm like, man, they gonna cut me. Like I did everything I could. Like I was here, I was doing it, but I think they're gonna cut me. And man, I went to the GM's office. He's like, before we gonna release you, but they had to release me to put me on practice squad. So that's how the NFL works. So he's like, man, before we say anything, I just want to, you came in here, you did a lot for yourself. We want to give you a practice squad opportunity. I said, thank you, Lord. Like that was the biggest thing. Cause I'm like, man, I just know they're going to cut me. I'm hurt. I did everything I could. And I showed I showed what I could do during camp. So I'm really happy about that. But the process of that was crazy. I'm going to be honest with you. Cause it was like, I went from being at home to like that first day of practice, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt asking me like, hey, where were you from? Like, what's your name and stuff like that. And that was weird. That was crazy for me. That was crazy for me.
And like one thing we're thankful for as a podcast that we get to bring guys like you on and show like how crazy of a roller coaster it is to kind of get to that place, right? Because like
people don't see that story. They just see you in a Browns uniform and like, oh, he's probably pretty good.
Yeah,
and like you don't know the half of it, right?
Yeah, we'll see guys playing on Sunday that people don't know that they were on a practice squad last week filling in for somebody that got hurt, and they could have been cut at any point, right? So it's the line is so thin between success and failure in the NFL, and it's crazy what you have to kind of put up with, and just kind of go through all those crazy different motions.
It's about faith and understanding you can't control any of it. It's beyond you, like, because at the end of the day, like, you can be a really good player sometimes, and whoever they drafted is going to play. Whoever they want to play is going to play. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. So, that's why I put my faith in God. I don't put my faith in nobody to make the decision for me. God will move as needed, and I know for a fact, like, when it's time for me to play and produce on Sundays, I make sure opportunity meets preparation. That's at every stop, every time I bet on myself, every turn in my life is where that happened. Opportunity met preparation. This screen freeze?
No, his is low and in.
All right, cool.
Yeah, but it froze for a second. We're good. We're back.
Yeah, we're good. But yeah, that's where at every turn of my life, that's where opportunity met preparation, and that's why I feel like got me here to this day. I'm definitely blessed though. Like, just the little things. It don't even matter about the bigger things in life. Like it's about the little things, just like having a home to come home to. Like,
Yeah, simple.
like I got the car that I always wanted since I was a kid. I got a Mustang now. Like that was my dream car as a kid. Like
Nice.
stuff like that. So those little things to where like this actually worked out. And I talked about all this stuff to my homeboys. I talked about all this stuff to my friends, and just a lot going through a lot to where a lot of people around me in high school, a lot of people thought I sucked in high school. A lot of people was like, man, you ain't good. You should have kept playing a different sport, or a lot of like hate, like just like, no, you ain't good. Like, but I was just kept working. I kept grinding. And honestly, and it's the craziest part where I show love to all those guys. A lot of guys who hated on me, like I show love to them. I felt like they was good. So I used to be like, oh no, he good. Like he gonna get to college, blah, blah, blah. And man, it's just crazy how everything came full circle.
Yeah, absolutely. So you said you weren't, trying to chase stats or anything like that going to Michigan, but there is one play you were a part of that probably every Michigan fan remembers. So I'm going to pull that up here. Kind of reigning in the new era of Michigan football.
No, most definitely. That was a good one. I love JJ to this day. That's my boy.
It's a great route, too.
What was it like, Daylen? I mean, like when you're running that route, did you think he was going to get that ball all the way across field to you? Like I thought he was. Did you think
no chance that ball wasn't going to get there? I know that for sure. That's JJ. So like, what a lot of people don't know about him is that he'll do that in practice. He'll get yelled at shortly after, but he'll do that in practice.
I mean that's a no in like every quarterback room. Like, do not throw across the field, across your body. Do not do that. Cool. And I mean,
the thing about JJ and that what I love about him, he is the type of person. He's going to have that. You're going to have that love-hate relationship as a quarterback coach with him, but it's the perfect camaraderie of like button heads to where like y'all are both alpha males, but he understands like, well, if I got the talent to me throw, I cannot make it. I love him for that. Because you can't just sit there as a quarterback. You can't be a yes man or a guru who just sit there and be like, okay, I'm going to do exactly what the coach say. Sometimes you got to improvise. Sometimes you got to make the play happen yourself. And he's a big part of that, and I love that for him because he just came out this year and had a great year, and I feel like he's gonna do even better next year. So, yeah, that's my guy, man. But that play there, I knew that ball was gonna get there. When I seen him peek back at me, I took off running because I already knew what he was going.
I mean, that's crazy that you had the chemistry and like obviously, clearly, he shows it enough in practice.
I had a chemistry with him from day one. I have no clue why. Like when he gets to the NFL and if I ever end up on the same team as him, like we're going to do crazy numbers. We had chemistry from the first day we stepped on the field. I never I don't think we just never missed a beat. Like even to where like I'd be running certain dig routes and I might break back out because he's scrambling with me. We're money. Or if I sit out in a hole in a certain on like a slant route, I sit in the middle of the linebackers. Bro, like we had crazy chemistry from the first time.
Was that corner expecting the ball to come back your guys' way during that play?
Absolutely not. Because I had a comeback route. So I was about to cross the field and like hope he throw like a post or something. Then I seen him and I seen the ball fly over. I said, oh, this is a touchdown. This is perfect. So I just ran under and left him.
That's
good news it's good news for you that he's got that confidence in his arm too, and like the trust that you would read that right. Because I mean, I'm not gonna lie, when you see quarterbacks rolling right, you don't think he's gonna throw to the left wide out, like across, like a deep ball too, like a vertical. Like I'm just gonna throw this thing, and that was like for anyone who watches Michigan football. I watched that live, and there was two things that stood out to me. One, JJ McCarthy's the real deal. We have a quarterback situation that's gonna happen here, and then two, I was like, who just caught that? Daylen Baldwin, like. I know him, so I was like, that was
now on the note of crazy catches too.
Yeah, got to show how you got to Michigan, right? Like, got to show. I remember seeing this too, and I was like, okay, like, because at this point when you made this play, I mean, this wasn't the first big play you made, but it was kind of one of the ones that blew up more. But like you were putting together game after game after game at Jackson State, and like your name was just kind of getting thrown out into the world more and more because of your play. Mm-hmm. And then once you went to Michigan, started making plays there. I mean, the rest is history, as like you said.
Rest is history.
I mean, how was it to win the Big Ten and kind of be able to be a part of that? First time for a while in Michigan.
Man, somebody just sent me a video 2 years ago. I was warming up on the sideline at Jackson State, and I'm here now. Like I could even like. If somebody would have told me that, I would have laughed at him. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. Be like, all right, 2 years ago, they'd be like, hey, yo, you gonna go to Michigan, you're gonna win a Big Ten championship. Then a year later, you're gonna be playing for the Browns. You're gonna come in off a workout though, but you're gonna be there the whole season. You're gonna get one active game, you're gonna make a play. And then I don't know what's gonna happen from there. Like, I would have looked at them like, bro, you insane? Like, because that sounds like a movie. That doesn't sound like, and for me, like, and I emphasize God, man, like that, it can only be him. Like this story doesn't make any sense. Like, I have a coach, an older coach, we call him K-Raj, in our receiver room, and he literally tells me, he's like, how? He's like, bro, you basically didn't have a college career. Like, you had one that was spring ball. So I only had 6 games at Jackson State. So he's like, you didn't really. I might have had 1,000 yards in my whole college career. Yeah. Some people have that in one season, more than that. So he's like, how? I'm like, God, like, it's not, I have no explanation for it. Honestly, it don't make any sense. Like, it is not for people to understand. It's my journey. So
what was it like, Dan? What was it like? So you played for 2 pretty big names, right, in college. Mm-hmm. What was it like for Deon Sanders, like, coaching you, and then Jim Harbaugh? Like, what was kind of like the comparisons of those two, and why do you think that they're so successful as head coaches?
There's no comparison. They are 2 completely different people on completely different ends of the spectrum. So no comparison for real. But they get players to want to play for them in their own unique way. So that's the biggest thing. And whether it's, I know at Michigan we were such a close-knit team with Aiden and Josh, who was our leaders on the team, and Cade and Andrew Vastardis. Yes, that's how you spell his name. That's how you pronounce it. But Andrew Vastardis, like, we had leaders on the team to where, like, it was like, man, we run this. We the players who run this. Like, coaches can do so much, but we run this as a team. I know we were just – I think he does a great job of choosing guys who are leaders. He doesn't let anybody in the program who's not a leader, who's just going to sit back and be reserved, I guess. You get what I'm saying? So
yeah,
he has his way of doing that and get people to play for him. And Deon Sanders is more relatable for a lot of his players. So, like, he gets them to play that way. So I feel like they really both good at getting their players to play well for them. Like, I feel like that's the comparison, if anything. Like, that's their one similarity, but they do it in 2 completely different ways.
They get to the same destination, right? But it's kind of different. How do you think Deon will do at Colorado? You think that transition to a bigger school will work?
I think they do good. I think it's going to take a year, but I think they're going to do all right. Honestly, I know it's a guy from Michigan who actually went there. My boy Taylor Upshaw actually go there now, so that's actually crazy. But I think they do well. Honestly, like, I don't see them doing really bad, but I think it's going to take a year for them to get where they want to be. Just like kind of like how I did at Jackson State too. So
yeah, I mean, that transition year. There's not many coaches that come in year one.
Yeah, you come in and run right away. It's tough, but I think it take a year, maybe 2 to get really where they want to be, to win championships and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sure. And, playing in all the different places that you did, building chemistry with your quarterbacks between the 3 colleges and, obviously 2 different quarterback situations with the Browns. Like, how do you go about that? And is it kind of different, like, case by case? You kind of got to, like, figure out maybe their personality and their style and how you can mesh with that? Or do you just try to be you and hope that, things kind of work out between the 2 of you?
I mesh. I'll make it easy for you. I'm not about to stress you out. You got enough to worry about already. Anybody who know me or play with me or play against me, they know I can fit whatever you need, and I'm smart. I'm just as smart as my quarterbacks usually. I know how to read coverages. I see everything that they seeing. Aside from the line, I'm starting to understand everything that's happening in the box now, because I kind of just want to get smarter about that personally. But as far as the back end, there's nothing that really gets past me or somebody who could fool me with coverage. So it's also helped me when it comes to my quarterback. So,
and that's a big deal that a lot of people like that aren't as into football, like, oh, he's a good receiver because he catches the ball, because he's fast, because he runs good routes. No. Like, if you're quarterback friendly, where you make him look better than he is, oh, he might miss you on a throw, you still make the catch, or the coverage might change right after the snap, and you recognize it and do your adjustment, right? Like, that kind of thing is a quarterback's best friend, and it really can make all the difference between a good player and a great player.
That's the difference. So honestly, in the game I played against the Ravens, I knew I was getting a ball on both of those plays. Like before the play happened,
like
I seen it.
Pre-snap,
Pre-snap, I knew I was getting a ball. Like, so I could prepare myself, and it was much easier for me. The game slowed down completely. Like, I knew I was getting the ball. Most plays I know when I'm getting the ball. Like at Jackson State, I done got on my quarterback. Like, bro, you supposed to throw me the ball. Like, what you doing? It's cover 3, come backside. What are you doing? Like, I'm 1-on-1 back here. I'm gonna let them know, like, because I understand the offense and I understand defense. Because I sit there in the meeting rooms, I'm gonna listen. Like, so that's the biggest thing. I usually fit to my quarterbacks though. I'll fit to whatever they need. I don't try to do too much, but in 2 of my cases, weirdly, the quarterbacks that I was coolest with weren't the starters, sadly, and they should have been. I feel like so at Morgan State, my boy DJ Golad, I feel like he should have played off the bat. I feel like he should have played immediately, like. And he was a freshman, and that was my roommate as a freshman. And that's my boy to this day. So, like, I feel like we could have did a lot. Like, then Michigan, I feel like JJ should have started. So,
yeah, well, you ended up being right there.
Yeah, you were right.
I mean, I know. I know. So,
like I said, watching that first play on TV, I was just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you weren't the only one that was thinking that.
Yeah. So, no, trust me, he has a fan base at Michigan, like on the campus of Michigan. Like people love JJ. So for me, like those are 2 situations. But like just trying to get the chemistry with everybody, it's a little different. It's a little difficult. But for me, man, honestly, I'm for the most part the type that's gonna be in the right spot at the right time. So if you throw the ball with any type of time, and I'm gonna be there to make the catch for you. So
what's it like working with like a talent like Deshaun Watson? Like is the same thing? Is the chemistry the same?
Life becomes very easy. I'm telling you, no extra like energy exerted, nothing, man. Life becomes very easy working with talented guys like Deshaun and Dobbs or and Jacoby. Like just like life becomes a lot more easier. But with Deshaun, very easy.
He's just different. He's just kind of
he's one of them guys, man. He one of them guys. He wanted to. When he was in Houston, top 5 quarterback in the league, easy.
That's what I mean,
without a question.
He was only showing like more and more potential, right?
Oh, more and more potential, man. He's very smart, but like I said, like he give you a catchable ball. He's he putting it where it needs to be, man. I ain't got no worries. Like that's the biggest thing, man. No worries. You go out there, you fine. You ain't got nothing to worry about. Just go make the play.
How did you sort of develop your pregame ritual too? Because Mark and I were commenting, kind of like JJ doing like the meditating stuff.
I got it from him.
I got you.
I got it from him.
And you still carrying that to this day? It's pretty much how you like to get prepared.
Yeah, most definitely. Meditation became a big thing. I want to say when I was at home for 2 months, meditation became a big thing for me. I was doing like a intermittent fast. And my first half of the day was meditation, read my Bible, watching a sermon. Like it was all spiritual the first half of the day. But before 12 o'clock, I didn't do anything. 12 o'clock, I went to work out. Then I did everything I wanted to do. So it was all about God and understanding how to control my emotions, control myself. And meditation is the greatest way to do that, to calm everything and understand you in the presence of now. There's nothing you can do about later. There's nothing you can do about before. You just here right now in this moment. And when you really can focus in on that moment of what you have, life becomes really easy for you. And you understand that, okay, we just make the most of this moment right here. We'll worry about the next moment when it gets here. And that's what meditation pretty much does for me personally. And it helps me completely calm, and it helps me become one with my environment. So,
and you don't even have to think about it. Like you just like you said, living in the now, just you can't control anything else. I feel like, you've said that a few times as you talked about your journey too, of like you accept what you can control and what you can't control, and that allows you to be so good at the things that you can't, because so many people get so worked up about stuff they can't control, and it affects the stuff they can control. And I feel like with you, I obviously wasn't there for your journey, but it sounds like that's a huge reason why you're able to get to where you were against all odds, because you never let any of that stuff affect you. You just stayed the course, did the stuff you knew that you could do, that you could control. And it's worked out for you, right? I feel like for so many people, other things, it doesn't always work out for them. And maybe that's part of the reason why. From hearing you tell your story, that's kind of what I'm getting, John. And I don't know if you kind of agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just, trusting the plan and putting in the best work you can every day and just, letting the rest up to God, like you said.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was tough though. Don't.
Yeah.
I don't want you to get confused. I had times where I was worried about everything in the world.
Yeah.
So it was a process, but like I said, growing mentally and getting yourself mentally stronger is definitely a part of that.
Daylen, you said you like to, you prepare a lot, right? And you like to be ready when your opportunity comes. In terms of like, scouting DBs, guys you've gone against, guys you watch on tape, guys you've heard about from other guys, like the other receivers that you're teammates with, like who are some of like the most impressive guys that like when you line up against them, you're like, I really have to be on my A game to even have a chance here? Like, is there just some guys that stand out on film or that you've played against that stand out?
I had one tough matchup at Nebraska. He's actually pretty good. He was on Cincinnati, not Taylor Britt. He's pretty good. I give him his credit. I had my best game against Nebraska, but I feel like I could have had a way better game. But he's a pretty good DB. I ain't gonna lie. But I line up against Denzel is nice. I line up against him in practice every day. So Denzel's nice. My boy MJ good too. He really nice too. As far as DBs in the league in general, me personally, I feel like they're not that good. So I'll be really honest with you. Like I ain't about to lie to you. I feel like not the guy. I feel like I can get open on most of them. Obviously you got the guys where they had like crazy years. The kid from Seattle, Tariq Woolley, had a really good year. Sauce
his length and speed is got
him and Sauce got really good length and speed.
Yeah, Sauce is
I really want to go against them. Like, I really want to play against them because I feel like I can get open on them. I really genuinely feel like that.
Yeah,
so I really want to
you invite that challenge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are the Jets on your guys' schedule this year? I don't know.
Who we play? I think we played them for the Hall of Fame game.
Got you.
I think that's right.
I think we do. So I pray I get to line up against them. Like I got hoping for it, bro. Like I really want to do that and just really just show that like there's nobody who can guard me. The best in the league, the worst in the league, no matter who it is.
That's the mentality I feel like so many NFL guys have, right? Like, I mean, to get there, you have to have that kind of confidence because if you go into a rep against somebody and think that they're going to lock you up, they probably are going to lock you up. Like that's just kind of what it is. Is there anything that you've learned? I mean, you've been teammates with some pretty good receivers, especially with the Browns, like right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is there anything that like, Amari Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones, that these guys kind of teach you or that you've kind of picked up from them that's made you better?
Yeah, I steal from Coop. I take his moves. I ain't gonna lie. His release.
He's got some of the craziest.
His releases off the line is crazy. I take his moves. I ain't gonna lie. I tell him. I'll be like, bro, I need that in my bag. So I go. I dare work on Amari Cooper. He has this little hesitation, little skip thing that he do. That's probably one of the best in the league.
It's filthy. It really is. Like it's
nasty.
So patient. It almost looks slow mo, and then he just turns it on.
It looks slow mo, but I promise you, when you break the dude down, it just creates all the separation that you need. So I love it. And he definitely teaches me a lot. They both are really smart though, man. Like I don't want nobody to underestimate how smart they are. People is the reason I learned to play. I learned to play with probably like a 3-day span because of Peoples Jones. And Peoples played on the same little league team as me. That's what nobody really knows. We play on the same little league team together. So our parents been knowing each other for probably 10 years, maybe, since little league. So and it's crazy because I don't think he knew me for a long time, but I used to look up to him a little because he's on the team above mine, even though we in the same class. And that's sometimes the realization. He was the number one receiver in our class. I had no stars in our class.
And you end up in the same team. Yeah.
We're on the same team.
It's crazy.
So things like that, little things like that, be like, wow, that's a blessing,
Mm-hmm. So we got a couple questions left for you. These ones are going to be kind of out of left field. First one,
questions.
If you were going to wrestle a bear, which person on the Browns roster would you pick one to wrestle the bear with?
Myles.
I said it would be Myles Garrett.
However big you think Myles is, times it by 2, 3, however much you
He's
want.
a freaking. I mean, he got in that car accident, and basically, I mean, it looked like it would be like a serious accident, and he comes out like with scratches. Like he's literally like. I mean, I think if that wrestling match happened, you might end up just like not even having to tag in.
Yeah, I think I'd be chilling. No cap.
Yeah,
I think I'd be chilling.
Now, would Nick Chubb be an option? Would he be like your number 2?
Absolutely, but Myles is just tall with it. So like,
I mean, Myles is built like a bear. I mean,
exactly. They're both really big, but Chubb is a little bit shorter. Myles is like a 6'5" version of Chubb.
Yeah, which is insane.
which is insane. Which is really insane. But literally, that's literally how he is. So I would take the taller one. If you had to ask me to push a car 3 or 4 miles, I'd probably take Chubb.
The legs feed the wolves. That's why Nick Chubb's got the Is Myles like the biggest freak of nature you've been like in person to like dress in uniform, like against people you've played against too? Like, I mean, I know he's your teammate, but like he might be, just when you're standing next to him, like the most intimidating figure like in the NFL. Like, is there someone else that comes close?
Bro,
I mean, there's some freaks.
Campbell may be like 6'9". I think he's like 6'7" on the depth chart. He may be 6'9", 6'10". Like
he can move.
Like, I played against the Ravens, so like I seen him, like, bro, he literally, like, I think he got hurt and he just stood up to next to one of the trainers. It looked like the trainer just came up to like his hip or something.
Yeah, like
it was crazy. So either him or Calais. Yeah, those are the only two that I think are like the biggest freaks of nature that I've seen up close. Njoku was pretty big too. David Njoku was pretty big and he can move. So. Yeah. And
then another fun question, everyone talks about their pregame playlist and all that stuff. What is your, like, if you're in the car alone, you're driving, you're playing the song, you don't want anybody to see you singing the song. Like, do you have a song that, like, your guilty pleasure? Like, if I get caught, if someone sees me, I'm going to have to act like cool. Like, I didn't put this song on.
I don't know. I don't have them type songs. I don't like. Honestly, I listen to a lot of gospel music, especially back during the season. Like now, I listen to like a lot of like Christian rap music that I don't know how everybody feel about. So I keep it to myself. It's in my playlist. It's in my headphones. Like I ain't gonna play it in front of nobody else. I put it that way. Like just because I don't like, I don't want to push my spiritual beliefs on anybody unless they come to me asking for it. You know what I'm saying? Or I can have opportunity to give it to them. But that's probably it. But I listen to a lot of like Christian rap or like Christian like R&B music. So that'd be the biggest thing.
Gotcha. Before we wrap up here, anything else that you want to mention or talk about? We're really looking forward to seeing you play this season. I'm sure you're gonna pop off.
Oh yeah, man. I just anybody who grinding, man, just keep going. Like it's a long process. Sometimes it's a way long. Mine is short compared to some guys. Some guys who went to the CFL, to the XFL, then got to the league, or however they did it. So, man, this process could be long for you, but if you know in your heart that this is what you're supposed to do, you keep doing it no matter what. One thing I did forget, God confirmed to me that in my junior year when I was depressed at Jackson State that I was going to get to the NFL. And it's crazy because I ended up telling Andrew and Anthony that I was making it to the NFL when we was like 5 games in Michigan. Before anybody knew I was leaving, whatever. Like, I'm like, God already told me I'm gonna get there, so don't worry about me. You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it was.
I think your faith. I mean, I'm a pretty faithful person as well, and I just think that, I mean, if anyone's, anyone who listens to this is gonna see a few common things from this that they pick up from what you've told, your story wise. But I think, without faith, you think there's any way you're at where you're at?
No. that's the biggest thing.
I just think that's what the power of it. Yeah,
it's like faith is really what it was. So I kind of prayed on him, like, hey God, like, what's my purpose? Like, am I supposed to be playing football? Am I gonna make it to the NFL? He had 2 very close people, which was Coach Dickerson. He had him like he kind of like was having a conversation with somebody. I was walking down the hall, and he was like, "Yeah, Daylen gonna get to the NFL. He's got to keep practicing hard." I'm like, okay. So it's crazy. I walked down the hall a little bit more. He literally my homeboy to this day. My boy Brandon Sanders. He was my young dog like at Jackson State. But he came up to me just the most random thing. He literally came up to me. He not right next to me in my locker. Locker next to mine. He tapped me. He's like, "Hey, Daylen, man, you gonna go to the league, bro? And I'll be right behind you." This is the same day. Like I prayed about it that night, that morning. This will happen. And like from there on out, I said, "All right, cool. Like I ain't even got nothing to worry about." And it's funny. So Andrell actually ended up taking my spot during the Michigan State game. He had his best game. But before that game, Andrell came to me. He's like, "Hey man, dude, like you feel like the like everybody not gonna mess with me because I'm a freshman starting?" I'm like, "Look, number one, don't ask nobody else this because everybody ain't as cool as I am. Like everybody, some dude's gonna hate on you. You know what I'm saying? Just you know what I'm saying? Do what you do." And I I literally told him, I said, bro, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna get to the league regardless. God already let me know, man, you go ball. And he had his best game, and I was so happy for him, man. And I've been with him since through his whole journey. Even like he at Oklahoma now, I still talk to him all the time. Like that's my boy. So it's definitely a blessing to see him do good for himself, man. So
yeah, man. Well, listen, John and I are, awesome interview. This was incredible to hear your story. Incredible to see
appreciate it.
How you've progressed as a person, as a player. Good to catch up with you again. I know I saw you a few months ago back when we were training, working out, but it's awesome to see, man. We're gonna obviously keep tabs on you and keep watching how you're doing, and we'd love to get you on again here sometime. And
most definitely,
I think people are gonna love. I think people are gonna love this, man. Our audience is gonna love hearing your story and just kind of talking some ball too. Like that's the best. That's what we want to do on this podcast, and you nailed it, man. This was awesome. So we appreciate you having on, dude.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. I'm gonna try to push this as much as I can and just try to push y'all, man. For
of course,
real.
man.
Y'all doing some good.
Of course, man. Good luck with everything, dude.
I appreciate you.
See it.
You as well.
What a killer interview, for real. Man, and like I said, and I know it's like after every single time we get to interview one of these guys, I just always come with the same takeaways. Like, holy shit, this journey is so nuts for all these guys. It's such a
different
grind
for every single one of them too, And it's just it's ironic that we have, we've gotten a lot of underdogs, right? We've gotten a lot of underdogs as our guests. We haven't had many guys that come on and just say, yeah, like I was a 5-star and then I walked in and I was the starter.
Right. And I started everywhere and it was easy, right?
Exactly. I think that almost builds the character that you need to last. Like he said, it is not easy. And, he went through depression. He went through tough times, like openly talking about. I think that's so great too, that Daylen was just willing to openly talk about some of the stuff that a lot of people don't want to talk about. A lot of people will not come on here and say that they were openly depressed for months or that they cried or that they, prayed and struggled. Like he came on and had no hesitation, just open book, told his story, told about the hard times, told about the good times. Like
it's all part of the journey. And not even mention, like he didn't even put that much emphasis on the fact that he was in, 3 different schools on his journey. Imagine how tough that is between, meshing with the coaches, meshing with all the players, moving locations, like all of those things. It's just crazy what goes into it. And can't be more stoked to see what he does next season. Obviously, I think he had a really good start, and I'm sure the success is only going to continue to mount from here. So,
the Browns have huge, potential, I think, and will always have potential. If you have Deshaun Watson at quarterback, he's a freak talent. Like, and you have a good core pieces on defense around him. You have some studs on offense to work with him. We really haven't gotten a chance to see him, right? And like, if he gets to anywhere close to where he was in Houston as a player,
it's going to be nuts. And one thing I kind of wanted to ask him, but it's just like, who maybe he's hoping they draft this year, right? Because they don't have, they have a pretty decent amount of capital
over that. But
exactly. But I'm just curious, okay, who is he hoping, fills in some gaps on the team and is able to, help make an impact right away or stuff like that. So, because I think, being able to kind of build out some of the later rounds. We've talked about this, and this might kind of segue into our next topic pretty well of, how important it is to, be able to actually add depth to your roster and draft well in rounds 4 through 7, say, right? And the Browns have historically been really bad at that. But as of the past few years, I feel like they've actually kind of gotten a little bit more momentum in that regard. So, it's critical. Now, into that topic, which teams in the NFL to you, Mark, have the most pressure on them in order to have a really stellar draft this year, that it will separate them from, where they're currently at in the season to, winning those extra couple of games to potentially, make the playoffs or go deeper in the playoffs than, otherwise would? Do you have any kind of teams that come top of mind for you?
Yeah, I got a few teams that I think when you look at this draft have the most pressure. I think one team that might surprise people with this answer is the Panthers, because you gave up a lot to get that pick, right? And anytime you do that, and anytime you're going to invest clearly in whoever you think that you're going to take with that first pick, that is franchise dictating moves, right there, right? Like
Yeah.
that.
And I mean,
you
they
pick
basically got two options they're choosing between right now
you
with that first
you pick the
overall
wrong
pick.
guy, and people are going to talk about that trade for that pick for a long time. You pick the right guy, and it sets the course for you to have a really, really good 10, 15 years. So obviously the pressure there, and dude, having that first pick is tough sometimes because everyone on the board's available to you. And, do you take the quarterback? Do you take the best overall player? Do you take your, greatest needs? So that's why I would put the Panthers up there. A few other teams I think have a lot of pressure. I think the Baltimore Ravens have a lot of pressure. I think everything that's happening with Lamar Jackson, I think that if you can get the right pieces around him this year and Lamar plays and has a successful season, and with the addition of OBJ and some of the other guys, I think that the Ravens could be a team that, can have a lot of success, and that might make him want to stay around. And if you can keep him around, and you draft well, that's going to help. And then another team, I think, well, two more teams I'll say that have a lot of pressure, the Cowboys. Cowboys have a lot of draft pressure because there's still a few things that they're missing, but they are a couple pieces away from being legitimate Super Bowl contenders. I mean, you could already probably say they're a contender, but
they made some crazy free agency moves.
They're still missing. I think they got to get another tight end after losing Dalton Schultz, and they need to get a tight end for their offense.
Very deep tight end class. I wouldn't be surprised.
They need a home run ball guy.
Yeah,
they need a home run ball guy at receiver because right now, I mean, they have Cooks who used to kind of be that, but they need a guy who can take the top off of defense and open stuff up for Cooks and Lamb underneath.
Well, now with Elliott cut too, I wouldn't be surprised if they went running back a little bit higher than we expect them to as well.
Yeah, I mean, you get Pollard, Pollard there, but yeah, I mean, they definitely do need an RB2 as well. So there's pieces but again, they're close, right? And then my fourth team, and we talk about them all the time and almost overkill, but the Detroit Lions. I mean, there's never been buzz like this ever. We have a lot of picks, especially higher valued picks, and you're a team that is never in contention, and all of a sudden you are because of your free agency and because of the turnaround of last season. And now you have an important draft because we consider you draft Jalen Carter at 6 and he ends up being the bust that people are saying he might be. You set yourself back big time, man. Like every pick has a new pressure in Detroit. And so, I hate to always beat a dead drum about how the Lions are kind of coming into their own and might be legit. This draft's important for them. And I definitely think that they're feeling some of that pressure to now win.
Totally. And I mean, look, I trust Brad Holmes. He has not led us astray his first 2 drafts. 6 is a really weird pick this year. And I will say, like, I think 18 all the way down, like, it's fine. Let it rip. I'm sure it's going to work out. 6 is a really tough one to nail, I think, this year. Because, you just don't have, like, it's a very deep draft class. The amount of, like, surefire superstars that you're getting, like there's not a whole lot of guys in this class. So I'm interested to see what they do. We're going to run yet another mock draft because why the hell not? We're a week away. But yeah, no, it's definitely a tough situation for the Lions for sure. But depending on how they do, it could be what separates them from, barely making the playoffs this season or barely missing the playoffs this season to going to the NFC Championship. Like it really could be that difference. And yeah, man, like putting pieces around Lamar, I think is just so critical here. It doesn't sound like, I know Lamar requested a trade. It does not sound like things are dead in the water now with this Odell signing. So we'll see. It doesn't
save them. I think it buys them time, but that's why I think the draft's so important. You get another receiver for him, or you get, you continue to build around him. You get him more defensive weapons to make him feel more comfortable. And like, I mean, the Ravens are a good team, man. And like, if he puts together a good season like he's capable of, and he has help and they draft the guys to help him, he's going to feel wanted there. He's going to feel important there. And now all that's left to do is talk money. And
they shot themselves in the foot though, when it comes to talking money, because
Jalen
Hurts just signed the biggest contract in NFL history. It's
kind of breaks the Lamar Jackson argument of, that style quarterback that runs the ball that might get hurt more. How long is he going to last? Right? Can he take these hits?
Hurts, and Baltimore's
and the Eagles said, "Well, we're not worried."
Right. Well, because also, like, from what it sounded like, Lamar was like, "I want a contract like Kyler. I want a contract like Deshaun." And the Ravens were like, "Oh, that's too steep for you." Now with this Hurts contract, price tag probably just went up, right? And they got to make something.
And it will keep going up. I mean, because there's some more guys that got to get paid too. But Jalen Hurts, becomes the highest paid, annual pay player in NFL history. My take is he's not worth it. It might not be popular, but I don't think Jalen Hurts. I mean, Jalen Hurts misses some open throws. He's far from the guys that are in his pay range. And I mean, I get you have to pay him. He just took you to a Super Bowl. But I mean, I don't know, man. There's some questions
that's
with
the
him
benefit
still.
of
He had a
having
great
freaking
season.
agent, man. Like, is that it hurts off of the best season that he's had. His agents can drill into that and be like, "Hey, look what this guy just did for you. Let's get this done now." Right? Like,
my opinion is, and I don't like hating on Jalen Hurts, even though I have a lot for some reason here. But I mean,
you weren't brought in on the Eagles all last season, so I don't know.
Is he worth being the highest paid player in NFL history, John?
Look, my guess is Robinson is an Eagle, and that takes the pressure off of Hurts's. He's still going to run, and that threat's going to continue to be there. The frequency is going to decrease.
Yeah, but is he good enough as a pure passer? I mean, I don't know if he's a top 6 pure passer in the NFL. Maybe not even top 10.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I mean,
and he's the highest paid we've ever seen.
Matter too, right? And like, honestly, if I were, the Eagles front office, I would wait one more year to do that deal because of the fact, how is he going to mesh with the new offensive coordinator, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. There's a lot of question marks, right? Because
plus, you know how it is, dude, because teams adjust. Right. Teams adjust. Like, teams are going to study the Eagles' offense all offseason and have answers for them. Like that RPO stuff, the zone read stuff. Like, it's not going to be successful next year.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Is RPOs are one of those systems, generally speaking, that it's like you can probably smoke teams with it for 1 year, and then the next year they're a lot better prepared for it than they previously were, right? So it's a lot harder to do that in play action, right? You can build your entire organization off of being
and if you can run the ball, it makes it, your world a lot easier. But
exactly.
And I get what you're saying, them getting Robinson and all that. But dude, I mean, I don't care who you have around him, like that is a fat amount of money to give a guy who I could probably name 4 or 5 guys better than him right now. Like,
right.
I don't know.
Well,
I hate to hate on him. He got his bag, but like,
it's tough. And, we'll see if it limits their options in the future. Thing is, with the salary cap going up every single year, what we've learned with history is that it's the earlier you do this, the better, because the cap just keeps going up and you're just going to have to pay these guys more. So lock them in. Like, that's exactly like, think about, the Mahomes deal, right?
Joe Burrow's going to break the bank.
Right. But like when the Mahomes deal first got signed, everybody's like, oh, you're not going to be able to keep anybody on your roster because you're paying one guy freaking, whatever it was, $45 million, $50 million a year. Like, this is nuts. But now he's probably one of the more cap friendly deals out of, any of the NFL quarterbacks because of the fact that deal's now 4 years in the past.
Yeah.
And the cap's just gone up.
The market keeps getting reset. I mean, every time it seems like every time these guys get paid, it's like the market just gets reset and the next guy's going to benefit. Right. And, it seems like that's happening at quarterback and the opposite's happening at like running back and some of these other positions, right? The value of that quarterback position every year continues to become more and more important. And honestly, why wouldn't it? Like, there's not many Super Bowl winners that aren't absolute freaks at quarterback. You need that quarterback to win. There's only been a few teams that have ever actually pulled it off with an average or below average quarterback. So, it is what it is. But speaking of large amounts of money, the Commanders sold.
Yep.
What do you think? Can you just go in here on why the Commanders are, before we talk about the number and everything, why the Commanders are one of the worst franchises currently?
So right, because we have that, and then you said you wanted me to kind of also break down, like Snyder's return on investment. Like, how is this garbage ass franchise that treats their fans like trash able to sell for $6 billion? Why is there $6 billion of value there, right? And so, look, I've said it in previous podcasts. I'll run it back again. This is the worst stadium, bar none, I have ever visited in my life that's for professional sports, period. It's not even close. First of all, it's like a mile walk to get to the stadium. It takes forever to get down there. And they don't need that to happen, by the way. It's not in the city. It's in like a field in the middle of nowhere. And it's just like the roads are so bad in the area that like you literally can't get to the stadium easily. And so it kind of like works like it's like a like a college stadium almost, except this is an NFL team that we're talking about, so it's a little bit whack. You get there, nobody knows where anything is because they did a bunch of construction on top of the same old shitty stadium. So to even get to like the upper bowl that I was at, there's one staircase in the entire stadium for which you can get to it that they took forever to even point us in the right direction to get to. And then nothing's labeled. So we actually walk past the door that took us to the upper bowl. Get there, place is trash, right? You've heard about the bursting poop pipes. Jalen Hurts, who just got his bag.
Poop pipes. That is a sentence.
That's a sentence that happened and in FedEx Field. So right, you go.
Jalen Hurts and Commanders. We didn't mean to connect those two things, but yeah, I mean,
no, but Jalen Hurts almost freaking died by having an entire gate fall onto him, and being the good guy he is was helping.
He would have never gotten the million. He would have never gotten the bag. I mean, he would have literally broke his neck.
No, yeah, and it's like you pay your $300 to get to the stadium just to have like sewage dumped on you.
To watch. I mean, you can do that for free. You can do that for free. Why pay for that?
So yeah,
some people are into that, John. Some people are
garbage franchise. Obviously, we just talked about the stadium. Not to mention the owner is a really sketchy dude, laundering money, a bunch of sketchy business practices. Every NFL owner hates him. So finally,
how about the Sean Taylor? Did you see the memorial? That everyone hates.
I'm the one that brought that to your attention. It's like a mannequin.
Like what is that? I mean, that guy is like an NFL legend and was sadly killed way too young. And that's how you remember one of the best players you've had in your franchise.
Yeah, it's not a good look. So anyways, all of these reasons why this is a garbage franchise, and yet it sold for $6 billion. Why? Because of the fact that the NFL as a market, as a business, has done nothing but grow and grow and grow ever since Dan Snyder made his, I think it was like a couple $100 million when he first purchased. So this scumbag is getting like a 12x return on this horrible franchise that he managed, purely because of the fact that the NFL has done nothing but rise in value. Their tickets, their TV contracts, everything. And so are they paying $6 billion for the assets themselves? Hell no. They're paying it for the potential money that this will generate once they get a lot of this shit fixed up. They're going to probably build a new stadium. Maybe the Commanders won't even be called the Commanders. They might change their name a fourth time.
Dude, I mean, they had a chance to make it right and they just failed.
Yeah, horrible name.
Their name sucks. Their stadium sucks. You go there and you literally get shit dumped on you. Like, and it sold for $6 billion. Like, what would your guess be that the Cowboys sell for right now?
Oh, more than that, because of the fact, not only probably the biggest brand in all the NFL, but because it's a pretty well-ran organization with good, assets and stuff like that.
Like,
so I think
what would be your number guess if Jerry sold the Cowboys right now?
If Jerry sold the Cowboys
to
I'd say like 11 or $12 billion.
Yeah,
like,
I would say even higher.
I'd say more than double what the Commanders just sold for. If I had to guess,
I agree.
What did the Denver Broncos get purchased?
Right? $4 billion, $5 billion.
$4.6 billion, right? So I guess they, even the market size here, they think that Washington is a bigger market than Denver, which I don't know if that's accurate considering how many teams are in the area, right? I see more Baltimore fans. I live 30 minutes outside of DC. I see more Baltimore fans walking around.
There's not a ton to be proud of with the Commanders.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Maybe they're not donning as much merch for that reason. So, switching to Lions talk, and then I think we kind of, do a mock draft, wrap up the episode. How's that sound?
It sounds great, dude. And just a reminder too, with the draft coming this week, expect a lot of draft content. I will go live on either Instagram or TikTok during the first round draft. So. And then we will obviously, John and I will put out a bunch of, we're going to rate every pick of the first round I plan on talking about. We're going to give team grades, and then throughout the draft and after the draft, a lot of stuff's coming. So if you don't already follow, subscribe, and you will get to see all that stuff because that's going to be entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely. So I sent you this list. There's a lot of guys that are like on this list, and obviously like top 30 visits. I don't want to say they don't mean anything. I just want to say that, like, this does not mean that these guys just skyrocket to the top of the list, right? For example, like, Mozzie Smith is not on here, except he definitely serves a need for the Lions, right? If he's there with one of their second round picks, just because he's not on this list doesn't mean he's not going to get selected. These are just guys they've met with that they clearly have some sort of interest in. So, Mark, my question to you is, pick 5 guys on this list that you are super
stand out
excited about. You're right. Like that are like, holy shit, if we can draft that guy, I'm going to be stoked on it.
Okay. So obviously we're not going to get Stroud, but he's on there. Again, this list is interesting. You don't want to take too much time to look at it because you never really, it doesn't mean that they're going to get drafted by us or anything, or that we're going to do anything crazy to get any of these guys. But if they're there, these are guys that we're definitely going to consider, right? I mean, we're showing some interest. So Clark Phillips, I've been high on for the past few episodes. Love that he's on here. Okay. I think he's one of the better corners in this draft. He will fall in the draft. And I think that if we're smart enough to get him, that would be great. Darnell Washington is on here, which I love to see. The second John sent me those 2 names are the first 2 that stood out to me because I think that we can get those guys with our second, third round picks. And that would be awesome for us. Emmanuel Forbes is another defensive back I like a lot on here. Another guy I think that could fall that we could get. And then you want to talk about like the bigger picks. Jalen Carter's on this list. And there's a lot of, I don't know what my opinion is. Honestly, I don't think I have enough knowledge of what's going on behind the scenes with him. There's a reason his draft stock went from number 1 guaranteed overall pick to he's talking about falling to like out of the top 10. Something's going on. And I've seen some comparisons to like Nick Fairley, like when the Lions drafted Nick Fairley and he had all the potential and, flashed all of his skill at Auburn, and he comes in and he flashed signs of greatness, but was not consistent. And that scares me with him. But if he's there at 6, I think we take him, I think so. That's a guy on there that I really like. Will Anderson, if we're able to trade up to get him, because I do think he will go before 6. If we're able to trade up and get him, I would love that. And then the final guy I'll talk about is Hendon Hooker, who I know that you're high on as a quarterback.
Hooker or Robinson, man. Either one of those guys, I'd be so happy if we selected them.
I watched, a lot of Robinson's tape. John sent me. He's high on him. With him, I just see a lot of, I don't know how good he'll be as a pro. I see a good college player. I see a lot of potential, but like, there's just some of the stuff. A lot of the stuff that he was doing is easier stuff. In terms of like reading, he's not doing a ton of reading coverage, a lot of RPO stuff, a lot of stuff that I don't know how well it translates to the next level, but the natural arm talent, some of the arm angles he was making throws on, some of the deep balls that he was
completion
getting.
percentage.
Yeah. I mean, and again, it makes it easier in that system and all of that, right. But, and honestly, sneaky athletic too, dude. Like he had some crazy plays with his legs. So there's a lot there that could happen. I just don't know how well it translates. And then one other guy I'll say too, John, before you kind of go into this, Dalton Kincaid, I think might be the best tight end in the draft.
Yep.
I don't know if we take him at 18, I think I don't like drafting a tight end that high because I just don't know if you're going to draft a guy that high at tight end, he's got to be like a Kelsey kind of player. I don't know if he's that. I'd rather us take someone else and then get Washington later,
Yeah, I agree with that.
But he's a great player.
So, and I'm going to break down, a few of these too. Obviously, Clark Phillips, I'm really excited about. Garrett Williams, I think he has great ball skills. I mentioned him as, kind of my underrated cornerback when we did the defensive player review last week. So I'm excited about that. Saiki Ika, right? Who's that a big D tackle that I said, maybe if we skip out on Jalen Carter, he's one that stands out to me. We met with Drew Sanders. We have not met with Jack Campbell. Between the two, I'd probably prefer Campbell, but I'd be happy with either. Honestly, they're very similar in their size and ability and play style.
I'm surprised at the lack of linebackers on this list.
Me too. But again, carry that with a grain of salt because, that doesn't mean we're not looking for linebackers. Obviously, it just might be, we didn't have the opportunity to meet with them. Jalen Carter, similar things. My final stance on Jalen Carter a week out here is that if Brad Holmes, does his due diligence on him, it decides that he's worth taking at 6, then I trust Brad Holmes because Brad Holmes tends to not mess that shit up. Personally, I would be a lot happier with a Will Anderson at that pick. If he falls to us or trading up, whatever, it's great to see him on this list, obviously. Brian Branch, we don't really need a safety, but he's a stud, so I'd be happy about that. I like the fact that we've met with 3 guards because that probably tells me we're going to get one of these guys at some point. And I think padding the interior offensive line is definitely a good thing to do at any point. So
interesting. I was interested that we had Adrian Martinez on it as for quarterbacks. I'm surprised there was, Hooker's good to have on here, but like surprised no Max Duggan. No Stetson Bennett, any of those guys that, I don't know.
Look, man, I think,
me.
Right. And again, that doesn't take them out of the equation, but I think overall, like we're looking for a backup quarterback. We're not looking for somebody to replace Goff right now. At least that's that's the vibe that I get. So, and then, Washington and Kincaid, probably my 2 favorite tight ends in this draft at for their respective value on where they're probably going to be drafted. If we make out with either of those guys, I'm going to be stoked. And, Schoonmaker is probably going to be like a 5th or 6th round kind of range. And I would be happy with him, honestly, just because of his size. I think that just having some mismatch opportunities is solid with, what a receiving core looks like. So, I want to
give a shout out to a friend of the show who has been on the show for about 3 seconds until his mic became the devil. Carter Ferris texted me after one of our episodes where we were both talking about how good Darnell Washington could be. And if John, if you want to go on YouTube really quick and just look up,
I'll see if I can pull up
highlight. Just pull up a highlight, like
okay.
Any highlight of Darnell, just search Darnell Washington highlights, and we'll watch like 30 seconds.
Wow, so you're actually gonna put Carter on blast?
I'm putting him on blast live, dude, because he texted me this, and I was like, I don't know, man. And Carter said that he thinks that he's a great blocker, but he's a little bit stiff and doesn't think he'll be able to kind of move and get open in the NFL. And then I was like, okay, maybe. Like I get he's bigger and maybe he's a little stiffer. Then I go and watch his highlights. And I was like, I'm not exactly sure what Carter Ferris is seeing, but I see an absolute freak of nature.
Look, I see him making every freaking contested catch purely because of his size alone. Like, so
if you want,
he just threw that corner like it's a rag doll and then hurdled.
He's jumping over people. How is he stiff? He's 6'9".
Yeah, maybe he's stiff because of the fact that he literally looks like Goliath the Giant running on middle schoolers.
What is stiff about this? I guess he's kind of like jogging his route here, like maybe, but then you see him go up and get it.
But again, moving like that for 6'9" is like the way that an average person moves.
Dude, he weighs like 270. He's not going to be as quick as, I know he's not the quickest guy in the world, but the fact that he can carry people 7 yards and the fact that his catch radius is 6'8",
dude, and like
the fact that he blocks. Now he did say he blocks well, but he was worried about his ability.
But his pass catching ability is phenomenal, and like look at him standing next to these other grown ass men that are incredible athletes.
Look at this. Look at this. Runs a wheel route, goes up and get it, and then you. Are you kidding? Like, what is the athleticism question mark? I don't get that.
I think this dude is going to skyrocket.
I think he gets drafted in the first round, dude.
I think so too. And it kind of stinks because I think it kind of, in my head, the Lions are not going to get him because they're not going to be willing to take a flyer on a tight end in the first round. And I think he's going to be gone by the time that we get into the 40s.
Dude, one-handed snag. Like, look at this guy.
It's not. And dude, like, I seriously think that like, this breaks the Lions offense if we get him. Because the one thing we don't have is a dude that's just straight up bigger than everybody else on the roster currently. And like I've said, like A.T. Perry is kind of my guy to go for if you're trying to just get like a size mismatch. This dude is 6'9".
This guy's a freak, dude. Like, I don't know where and I hate to put him on blast, and he'll probably be on the show next week because we're gonna do a mock.
He'll be on the show next, so we're gonna get into a bunch of friends on here.
We're going to get a bunch of our, close friends on here. We're going to designate them teams, and we're going to do a pretty good mock draft next week ahead of the, in honor of the NFL draft being a week from today. We're going to do that. And Ferris is for sure going to be invited to be a part of that. He'll probably find out when he listens to this episode tomorrow. But he's going to be surprised to see that I drop his name and blast him here.
Well,
but
his microphone needs to be functioning in order to come.
We'll get it. He'll get it. He'll get it right. I don't think he'll make that mistake. I mean, he was literally Vecna from Stranger Things coming in.
He popped in on the live stream, the first live stream that we did too, and it was a properly functioning mic. So I don't know what the hell.
Yeah, he's redeemed himself. I mean, he might just be Vecna himself. You know,
He might be Vecna for sure. All right. So are you ready to run one more mock draft? Lions mock draft?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's pick. Here's what we'll do. Do you have like a random number generator?
Yeah.
Or something. Just do like a random number, and we'll say like, you know, and we'll just kind of go in like an alphabetical order, and I'll draft that team, you draft the Lions.
Okay. Sounds good.
We'll give another team kind of a random, because I'm just curious. I'm kind of curious to see who we get, and like, you know.
Okay, we'll just go in rows, you know, right 4, 8, 12. You see what I'm saying?
Cool. Yeah, just do a random number, and then
number was 15. So 12, 13, 14, 15.
Packers.
You're going to be a Green Bay Packer.
Okay, shit.
That's fun, actually, because they have a whole lot of holes to fill.
A lot of questions, dude.
All right, let's do this shit up.
Shit. All right, now just for the record, I'm assuming Rodgers is traded for this for the purposes. Can we do that? Can we take that into account and like get picks, or I don't know how that works?
Yeah, the only problem with this is I can't force the trade to be accepted. So I'll just send them like all of, you know, whatever picks that the Jets are going to give them. It'll be fine. It'll work out.
Okay.
Anyways,
cool.
I'm going to reject these trades. I think the Lions do trade 6 or 18, one of the two. I don't.
Dude, if that trade was offered to us, what the hell? If we got Buda Baker and Hopkins for
I would take that. I would.
There's no way that trade is offered to us, dude.
No, there's no way that trade is offered.
Hell no. But if it is,
the sake of being realistic, I'm not going to accept that. Not going to accept that. This one's interesting, but
I wouldn't accept that.
Also, not going to accept that. So
no, I'm not taking Derrick Henry for the
Wilson was taken at 3. Anderson was taken at 5. I think it will probably be flipped, but that's what I think is going to happen. And so I am going to go Jalen Carter at 6.
All right.
Now, quickly, I'll pause this. Green Bay proposes trade to the Jets. They give him Aaron Rodgers, and the Jets are probably going to give up. I'd say probably their second and third rounder for Rodgers. I don't think they're giving up their first. I don't think
that's why they're stubborn. They're stubborn on their first, second, and third, and then a player.
Okay, so let's just do that. And then I don't know. We'll just to make sure this trade goes through. I'm just gonna like throw some goodies in there too. Sure.
Beautiful.
All right, so you got your draft capital. I'm going to resume the trade, or resume the draft, rather. Okay, you got offered 25 and 57 for 15. Going for it, or just for the sake of realism, you're going to
no, rejecting.
Okay. All right.
So I got here, sheesh. Witherspoon's still there, or he went off?
No, he's there. Yep.
Wow. I'm trying to, you know, I'm thinking about my young quarterback here.
Yeah, but it's not a deep wide receiver class, and that's the tough
I know,
part.
that's what I'm saying. But I do see someone that I like in Quentin Johnson.
Is that what you're rolling with?
Yeah, give me Quentin Johnson. Give me a big play receiver to kind of go with Christian Watson. And
Green Bay likes size for their receivers. That seems to be
dude,
where they
it's quarterback friendly, you know, and
yeah,
you need a red zone guy like that.
I'm gonna reject this trade. I'm gonna reject this trade. Reject this trade.
I hope those trades actually happen, even though they're not going to. But I mean,
yeah. So at 18 here, Robinson is still on the board. Joey Porter's still on the board. Lucas Van Ness is on the board. I think our running back situation, right? We get a lot with Robinson, obviously, but I'm pretty happy with Montgomery being on now a 3-year deal and Swift. So I'm comfortable with probably passing on him, even though he's such a generational talent that hurts a little bit. I don't think Porter is that stellar that he's worth taking in the first round. I think the only guy that's truly a first-round quarterback is probably Witherspoon. You can make an argument for Gonzalez, but I don't think the Lions are.
I like Joey Porter a lot.
I do like Joey Porter. I just don't think, right, you're at pick 18 here. You know, alternatively, you can grab Lucas Van Ness right now, which is where I'm going. You have 2 stud edge rushers and Jalen Carter in the middle. That's probably the best defensive line, one of the best defensive lines in the league with that lineup. So I'm going to go Van Ness here.
That's your lineman bias.
Hey, man, you win in the trenches, you win, period. I think it's funny that Robinson got selected there with the Giants. I know this is just a robot at the end of the day, but that'd be some drama with Saquon for sure if that were to
This
happen.
is a robot and you're a bot.
I am a bot. You're right.
Decline that trade.
Yep.
Oh man.
Oh, I think the guy that you go for here, if you're trying to be quarterback friendly, staring you right in the face right now.
Yeah, I mean, I also want to protect him as well.
Good point.
Also, I don't even know if he is the quarterback of my future, you know? Go back up to the top, John. Is this the top here?
This is the top. Yep.
Okay. I'm looking at the draft where Michael Mayer's there, Jahmyr Gibbs is there, Hendon Hooker's there, Wyatt's there. So tough. I'll take Michael Mayer at tight end. I'll do the obvious.
I think that is the pick Green Bay would make, considering they have one tight end on their depth chart currently.
Yeah, I would do that. I think I got to go offensive line with my next one.
I think that's a good move. The problem is the amount of tackles you're getting, right? There was quite a drop off in the first round. So what, you're going to go interior offensive line?
I'm going to probably just go best offensive lineman available.
I can set that up for you. There's your offensive lineman available.
Was that just guards?
Nope, guards. Oh, yes, it is just guards. So tackles, you got Cody Mauch, Warren McClayton, Blake Freeland.
I actually like that. I like that guy from North Dakota State a lot, actually.
And then just guards, just so you know, you got a bunch of guys that I don't recognize, and Chandler Zavala at 169.
Yeah, go back to tackles. I'm gonna take Cody Mauch. North Dakota State breeds damn good offensive line, dude. There's a reason that they've won like 7 national championships in like 8 years.
That's a good point. Okay, here I am at 48. So far I have grabbed all defensive line. I'm gonna see which tight ends are still on the board.
Laporta's still on the board?
Laporta's still on the board. I don't love Laporta though. And I've said this previously that I think he's somebody I'd grab probably in the 3rd round if he's there, not with my 2nd round pick.
There's a lot to like with him.
Look, Jack Campbell's on the board. Let me see really quick what we're doing cornerback wise too. And Clark Phillips is on the board. That's tough.
You have more of a need at linebacker, but
yeah, I'm gonna go Campbell and hope to God that Phillips makes it the next 6 picks. That's what I'm gonna roll with. Because there's always next year for cornerback, but I think linebacker we got to address right now. Let's go.
You survived it, so yeah.
This is turning out to be my favorite.
What pick are you at right now?
55. So that's our second round pick.
Yeah, and I think Clark Phillips will be there.
I think so too. I'm hoping that Gotti will be. Right now, so far, this is my favorite Lions mock draft I've done, and I send Mark one just about every single day. So
yeah, it's kind of a problem for John.
It's a little bit of an obsession. If I ever need like some people take smoke breaks at work. I don't smoke. You just take run and do a mock draft.
Lions mock draft.
All right. Are you taking this trade? I mean, it doesn't even make any sense because the 2024 pick, and then same thing, 2024 picks. All right. So here you are at 78. You got your lineman, you got your tight end, you got a stud wide receiver. I feel like Green Bay, if they were to acquire 3 guys on the offensive side of the ball, would go defense here.
They would, because they love defense, but they also wouldn't have taken a receiver in the 1st round or a tight end in their next pick. Can you go to offense and go to receivers?
Yep. Oh, I know you like Rice.
A.T. Perry's there. I'm taking him.
A.T. Perry is there. Perfectly fits the Green Bay mold. think that's a good pick. Then at 81, ooh, that's an interesting trade. I will reject that. And this one's to trade down with the Chargers, but then trade up to 125. I'm going to accept this one if that's cool with you.
Yeah. That's fine with me, man. Listen, I'm your rival. Why would I advise you, here? I'm the Green Bay Packers. Like, you think I'm going to help you on draft day?
I know. I'm just saying, like, what's realistic, right? What could happen on draft day? I don't want to get because sometimes I start accepting trades on this thing, and it just gets real fucking wacky, and then it's like, all right, this is never going to happen, right? So at this point, I feel like you start to kind of look like, all right, best player available. I am going to see tight ends because I haven't picked one up yet.
Not a lot of. You got Wiley's left out of Cincinnati.
You got Wiley out of Cincinnati. You got Kuntz out of Old Dominion, who is the same size as Darnell Washington. And you got Schoonmaker's probably going to fall a little bit further than that. But I feel like none of these guys are really worth taking with this pick. So I'm going to go back to all here. And
Sewell's there. You want to unite the brothers?
Yeah, I don't love Sewell on tape is my problem. I thought I saw what's his face from Penn State? Not Brown, but the oh no, Ivan Pace literally just got selected. So by me trading down, I missed out on him. F it. I'll go with Sewell.
And your boy Tank Bigsby got picked.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm not that worried. I honestly don't think we pick up a running back in this draft. We might, but
we don't need to.
No, we definitely don't need to. I'm gonna go with Sewell here. Like I said, I don't love the tape, but whatever. It's a mock draft at the end of the day, and we do need.
We'd love to see the brothers play together, dude. That'd be kind of cool.
It would be cool. I think both of us do a little bit of hanging out here for the next while.
That's fine. We need to add like elevator music over this. You can sing. You're a singer, dude. Can't you say? Oh, Tomlinson just went. Damn it. TCU.
All right, you're up. You just got picked. You just got given a shit ton of draft capital to trade back. You taking that?
No.
Okay. Who you want?
I feel like Green Bay doesn't do a lot of trading. I'm tempted to do another receiver, but I can't. I already took two. Go to offense. Go to offensive line again. Check tackle first. Okay, go to guard.
Zabala's still there.
Yeah. I'm gonna take Anthony Bradford out of LSU. Shout out to him, Muskegon guy.
Mark giving the Muskegon looks, and you got another pick coming up here. You just got offered a trade. To trade back one spot, you get pick 184.
Yeah, accept that.
Yeah, it seems
That's right. Reasonable. Okay, go to Jaden Reed's still there. I like Jaden Reed a lot, but it's a third receiver. Go to defense. Go to linebacker. Just want to see who's left. Go to edge. This is where it gets interesting. Go to corners. Nobody I love. This would be a total Packers move, so I'm going to do it. Take Riley Moss from Iowa.
Got you.
White corner. I mean, come on. Green Bay. That suits the Packers.
This is the point in the draft where I grab.
Really?
Is he gonna fall? Yeah, man. Because next pick's at 150.
Look at Duggan.
Nah.
You would pick him over Duggan.
Actually, hold up. Yes, I would. First of all, second of all, I'm actually changing my mind. I'm gonna grab Garrett Williams here. This that has Brad Holmes written all over it. Him grabbing a kind of a slept-on cornerback with good ball skills. And then I'm just gonna hope that that Robinson falls to what did I get? Pick 150 something. You're next here though. Start looking off who's coming off the draft board. All right, your turn. No trades. I see Mike Morris there. Michigan edge rusher, pretty productive.
Yeah, I also like a Jomo from Texas.
A Jomo. You got Schoonmaker.
No, I wouldn't do another tight end. Go down a little bit. I'm going to take KJ Henry out of Clemson.
Yes, sir.
I like the Clemson defensive line. There's really only one bust you can think of in recent years. The rest of them have been very productive.
Grabbing Robinson.
I can't believe you just took him over Duggan.
Yeah. As far as NFL success goes, I think Robinson has a better chance at it than Duggan. Sorry about it.
I don't know, man. Did you see what Duggan did to the Michigan Wolverines?
Shut up. Any interest in this trade?
No.
Okay.
Go to offense and go to receivers again. Yep, there he is, top of the board there. Charlie Jones out of Purdue. One of the most productive receivers in the country last year. You never heard of him? You didn't see him play against your Wolverines in the Big Ten Championship and have like 12 catches for 160 yards and a tud?
Nah, they didn't win, so he's not remembered.
They competed.
Oh, and Chandler Zavala is still there, picking him up. Big. Got our interior offensive lineman. Cannot believe he's still there. And now it's your turn, by the way. My bad.
All right. I see a running back I like, but the Packers already have Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon.
Yeah, but they're getting a little older.
Yeah, go Cameron Peoples, App State. He's a stud. Very hard to tackle on the first contact. That dude runs really, really hard.
Sounds like a Packers type of running back then.
Yeah, he fits really well. But he's like kind of a hybrid between A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones.
I believe this is the Lions' last pick, and so I am going to grab Jake Moody.
Wow. That would actually be awesome if they are able to get Jake Moody. We need something consistent.
I was going to say, I'm not super mad with how Badgley played, but,
Jake Moody is clutch, dude.
I was about to say, like, Moody's clutch. Like, he knocks those babies through when they need to happen. So,
and he's a touchback machine for kickoffs.
Retweet.
You can't say retweet in 2023, dude.
I can say whatever I want in 2023.
Retweet? This isn't 2016, bro. You're a weird ass.
Whatever. Pick a pick.
Go to offense.
Yes, sir.
No, actually. Okay. Go to quarterbacks. Because I don't know, to be honest with you, if Jordan Love is the guy, right?
And so they're going to draft a guy in the 7th round?
They got to draft a guy,
Okay, for sure.
And
I don't know any of these guys except
I know some of them here. Scroll down, see if there's any Stetson Bennett there. Do you see how many of these guys they have rated ahead of Stetson Bennett, dude? That you
530 on the depth chart.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Man. All right, screw it. Take Stetson Bennett.
I was about to say, I feel like you gotta. Oh, and you have another pick. Exactly what you wanted.
Beautiful. Go to let's see. Man. It's tough, dude. Go to special teams.
Kicker, I assume.
No.
Punter?
No. Don't like any of them. Go to defense and go to D tackle. Let's go Keandre Coburn out of Texas.
Yes, sir. Then I think that's. Nope, you got one more pick still.
Oh my god, dude.
Best available player.
I don't like being the Packers. No, let's see what we got here. Let's go.
You're killing me.
I'm killing you. You think the Packers would just take the best available player? No, it's never that simple. Go offense.
That is true.
Let's go go centers. All right, let's go take Chris Murray out of Oklahoma. Address the main things the Packers need to address. Getting Chris Murray that late, beautiful. Never heard of him.
But he's from Oklahoma.
Hey,
good. Good thing you did. Oh my god.
Do I have another pick?
Yeah.
What the hell's going on right now?
It's like a hell that we can't escape.
All right. This sucks being a Packers fan, I guess. A Packers GM here. Go to wide receivers. I want to see if there's any that I recognize left. Nada. Go to tight ends. Already took one too, which is beautiful. I don't like that. Any of those. Go back to quarterbacks. Draft 2 quarterbacks in the same year. I'm kidding. No, go to defense. Go to linebacker. I'll get a linebacker.
Oh my god! Release me from this hell.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm gonna go Barnes out of Western Michigan because I played against him.
There's a dude named Bumper Pool on here, and you're gonna
No,
go.
I ain't taking him.
Bumper Pool?
No, can't do it.
Dude, I'm drafted. Oh, the Saints just got a steal with Bumper Pool. All right, so I got. Does it? Oh, it will show yours. Okay. Oh yeah. Jalen Carter, Lucas Van Ness, Jack Campbell, Clark Phillips, Noah Sewell, Garrett Williams, Dorian Thompson Robinson, Chandler Zavala, Jake Moody. This is hands down. If the Lions did exactly this with their draft, Super Bowl. I'm calling it right here, right now. This is our draft class to a T. Exactly. We're going to the Super Bowl.
Does it give you a grade?
It does not, because this is not Pro Football Focus, because they make you pay money. And I'm not giving them my money. You see all these advertisements like that we can't escape. That's why. Mark went Quentin Johnston, Michael Mayer, Cody Mauch, A.T. Perry, Anthony Bradford, Riley Moss, KJ Henry, Charles Jones.
How many picks did I have? What the hell?
Cameron Peoples, Stetson Bennett. Like seriously, you apparently have like 14 7th-round picks.
I actually like my draft.
Coburn, Chris Murray, and yeah, I think for the players that I recognize who they are, I think you did a great job.
I think I did a great job. I think I got some great late talent that we've never heard of.
Yeah. I think you loaded up on talent that I couldn't tell you the slightest thing about.
Sometimes, hey, Daylen Baldwin went undrafted. You know, some of those guys sneak through the cracks.
I like how you just full circle.
That.
Yep. There we go.
What I do. That's what I do, John.
All right.
That is what I do.
I think this is the longest Practice Squad Pod episode we have ever had. Thank you so much to Daylen for coming on. Reminder that April 26th through May 1st, we are running a sale. Entire merch stores 20% off using Draft20 as the code.
Draft20.
We will see you guys a week from today for our mock draft live stream with the Practice Squad with our friends and
the Practice Squad. It's going to be entertaining. I would tune in to that one. And then obviously tune in when we go live for the actual draft as well. Feel free. I'm sure I'll go live with some people. John will not be available, but I will.
Look, maybe I'll queue in from the bar. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. He might be a couple beers deep and, calling all sloshed. Whatever.
I don't remember the last time I got sloshed off of drinking beer, but we'll see what happens. Probably with
don't
you.
Act like a big. Don't act like a big old tough guy, dude.
I'm not a big old tough guy. I'm just saying my stomach gets hurt before anything happens. That really 9 out of 10 drinking scenarios for me is that I have to tap out because my tummy hurts. So I'm actually a baby.
It's embarrassing that you have to say that, but okay.
Yeah.
That's a good way to end the. It's a good way to end the episode. Thanks everyone for listening. Merch, live streams, draft coming next week.
Peace.
Peace.
Oh wait, I got to do the. Yeah, I'm really on it with the emceeing today. We'll catch y'all later.
Oh, what idiot.